Девочки, они ставят табаком. Если они могут, тише. Вообще всегда девочки с купами ставят табаком.
Прессе можно. Ну что, девушки, вы готовы?
Да. Но не могу пройти. Первая такая, знаешь, стача, я очень необычно все это сделал, да?
Он ее спел, Малюк ошибся, но ничего, придал изюм.
Нет. Уже начал. Знаете, могу сказать, Филипп?
Что скажешь, Оля?
Что ты об этом думаешь?
Дай Бог счастья, любви и дружбы. Они пониже спуститься.
А невеста вперед, как же? Невеста вперед.
Да, конечно.
Господи.
3 minutes from now, when the chorus starts, you go.
Уже идти. Поешь?
3 минуты.
3 минуты, ноги оставь.
Не спускайся сюда. Вот здесь.
Невеста отсюда идет. Да.
Ну и когда ты пойдешь? Попрошу удалить.
Я детей стерегу, они перед ней должны быть. Сейчас
Она будет выпускать детей, как цыплят, знаешь?
3 девицы под окном пряли поздно вечерком.
Давай. Я же слышу.
Сейчас. Нет, сейчас.
Оля, дай мне знак, когда девицы уходить, я не включу.
Когда музыка играет. Я еще большая.
Уже большая. Все большая.
А что зачем?
Ты у нас, Лизочка, самый ответственный момент. Перед ними если будешь листочки бросать.
Оля, это что, еврейская народная музыка, что ли?
Я думаю, я понятия не имею, что это. Да, зачем?
Я снимаю.
Мы готовы встать.
Медленно.
Бросай, бросай, бросай. Дима, Римочке под ноги бросай. Римочке под ноги. Она идет и стоит под ножкой.
Аня, муж, который я.
Elokim habayim b'shem Adonai merach luchem mi beit Adonai. Welcome to all of you. In the name of the Eternal One, welcome to all in this place, in this home of the Eternal. And I have something I want to sing to you as well. My water's there. May her mercy rest upon you, that the kindness of your ways leads you to the holy garden. May she shine her light upon you, that your paths be ever clear, to walk in peace and faith and joy. Boi bikala, Boi chatan, boi bishalom, bishalom. Come in peace, O bride and groom. May he plant his strength within you, that your hearts be filled with love, ever pleasing to the one within you. May his holiness surround you, that your souls shine as fire, to praise the holy name to all humankind. Boi bishalom, ateret bala, boi chatan. Come in peace, groove. Roman. Vikala and Ina. All right. Now that we have the nervousness out of the way, we can begin the ceremony. Okay. So I have some things I want to share, some thoughts on this day, but first I want to just tell you what a privilege it is to be able to be the rabbi at your wedding for the two of you. You're both very, very special. This is a magical day. Everyone here agrees it's a magical day. It's the most beautiful day. It's the first day of a Hebrew month and the first day of an English month. There's a counting of the Omer as we go from the liberation from the bondage at Pesach to 50 days to Pentecost. It's called Counting the Omer. And as they take it in the mystical tradition, very similar, if people know the chakra system, it's called the Tree of Life in the Jewish mystical Kabbalistic system. And each day of the week has a certain meaning. And each week, for 7 weeks, has a special significance. And your day today happens to be the day of Tiferet in the week of Malchut. Tiferet is the heart. It's splendor. So it's the day of the heart. And this is a tradition that goes back a long, long time. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? The day of the heart. And the week is the week of Malchut. And Malchut is the feminine energy. It's the earth. It's the mother. It's the bride. It's the queen. It's the Shabbos. It's the Kundalini energy. It's the grounding energy that supports us. It's our grounding on the earth. It's the most feminine quality of all of the 10 parts of the sphere of the Tree of Life. What an awesome day and significant. You didn't look to find that out, but I tell you this on your wedding day. So even more so is there a power to this day. And in preparing for the wedding, we spent probably somewhere between 5 and 7 hours on the phone, and then we had a chance to meet with the Roman's mom before Shabbat, spent some time together. So even though we're new in each other's lives, we got involved in your wedding, which is about the most personal thing in a person's life there can be. And I feel privileged because I do a lot of weddings. I'm not always sure when I do the wedding. I don't know, is this couple right for each other? And you guys have such a wonderful romantic story. I know you're going to talk with each other as soon as I can shut up a little bit and speak with each other. But I think there are the people here who know, some of the people who know your story of how you've known each other since early childhood. And what a magical, romantic story that is. It's a beautiful story. So that adds another dimension. But even more than that, when you approach the wedding, most couples say, Rabbi, we do our wedding. No, not with you guys. It was like you were involved in thinking about every part of the wedding, how you wanted it to be, how it could be within the tradition and yet have a mark of your own distinctiveness, that it was something that you could choose and help create it. And it also reveals something when I would talk to you, because half of what I do, as you know, and others may here not know that, when I do a wedding, it's not just a ceremony. We do pre-marriage counseling. We talk about why do you want to get married in this day and age? What do you give to your partner? What do you get from your relationship? What areas of communication, how that might be difficult? How do you work on those difficulties? Because that's real life. And it feels like you want to give the couple that support. And you took that so seriously when you wrote your answers. And when you discussed this with me, I learned as much from you as you may have learned from me. I certainly feel that. And you approached, I was impressed with the seriousness and with the joy in which you approached your relationship and in the creation of this ceremony, the gathering of family and friends. You both have a depth of spirit with which you still are in contact. Many people lose it after they're 7 years old. So that you draw upon that in your relationship and in the matter of living out your lives in the everyday world. So it's a special wedding for me, and I wanted you to know that before I began. Now, I have a teacher friend, I call her my rabbi, I don't know she's ordained as such, and she said something about love, and she said this: we are blind, and the only eyes we have are the eyes of the heart. We are deaf, and the only ears we have are the ears of the heart. I just had a situation with my son, and it was a moment of struggle. And my sweetie reminded me of something. And I realized I wasn't coming from my heart. It brings tears to my eyes when I remember this. And I called my son, who's as dear to me as anyone in the world. And I called him, and I apologized. I was coming from my head in my place of fear. But when you come from your heart, you break your heart open, it's a different world. and he thanked me. I didn't need the thanks, but he was so appreciative, and I was appreciative that I could open my heart and not be closed to him. Listen from your center and from your heart. Find a prayer that rises within, the one that nurtured in the silence and hidden in the warm darkness will be released like the seed in the spring, whose time it has come to sprout. The Hebrew word for marriage is kiddushin. It tells us that ultimately the rabbi doesn't marry you. I don't have some magic wand, shh, which I wave and say, poof, you're molded, or poof, you're married. It's a process. You're not magically married by someone else. You marry yourselves. Kiddushin comes from a root which means kadosh. It's translated as holy, special, or sacred. At its core, the root meaning is to choose. You choose this one from all the infinite possibilities, and you choose this one of all the infinite possibilities to be your mate. And you separate, the word marriage, kiddushin, from kadosh means to separate something out for a process of purification, and then give in that process the best offerings of your heart. Kiddushin then is a choosing, the other as the most special to you. And marrying and consecrating yourselves to this special one by a mutual intention, your kavanah, your intention. Intention means, it's not, I think I'm going to do that. Oh, I think, No. Kavanah is, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And to seal it by a pledge of love through hard work, and to create an atmosphere of caring and respect. Caring and respect, trust and consideration for your lives together. The kind of relationship that kiddushin is, would you? Push hard. Wait, strong. Okay. Now that's what marriage is. It says in the Bible, but it's a mistranslation. It says, I'll make for man a fitting helpmate. And the Hebrew says, ezer kenegdo. Ezer means this. One more time. Over and against. Keneged. A helper over and against. That when people are close together, you rub off the perimeters of each other. That's a give and take. It's a process of learning to make space for the other and make space for yourself. In such a relationship, Martin Buber, the great Jewish thinker of the 20th century, calls it I and thou. There's no loss of self. Each of you discovers the person that God wishes you to become. To respect each other in your differences, and then you can grow as equal partners. It's a paradox. You know what a paradox is? Two things seemingly opposite, and yet look like poles of a magnet. There cannot be a plus without a minus. There cannot be one without the other. And so there's three aspects to the relationship. There's I, each of you, and then there's we. This is summed up in a beautiful teaching by the Baal Shem Tov, father of Hasidism. He says, from every human being, if you can imagine it, some people call it an aura, but there rises a light. And when two souls that are supposed to be together find each other, their light together, some in Eastern tradition call it the tantric energy, that special energy of unification. When two come together in love and integrity, the light and the energy that you send forth is brighter and stronger than it could be from either of you alone. It's, what's the word? I can't remember the English word for this, but it's magnified. And in the process of making marriage, you are afforded, I'm going to tell you a secret. People will say, you can't see God. God is not corporeal, doesn't have a body. There's a lie to that. You want to see the face of God? Every day, look at the face of your beloved. And in that face, you see, manifesting, one aspect of the face of God. The only real eyes that we have are the eyes of the heart. I wanted to say that when two people are drawn together, then all that you will share, lovemaking, washing pots and pans, periods of tense, unspeaking silence, shared appreciations, all become grist for the mill of awakening. Be grateful for it all. And to be gifted with this consciousness is as great a blessing as you will ever know upon the earth. Now, I want to conclude with, on their wedding day, there are going to be 7 people, there's 7 blessings. I like, as a rabbi, to give you 7 gifts. There's a tradition that on the day of your wedding, there's 7 blessings, and for the 6 days after, friends come to your house, bring you zuzus, sweet things, and give you 7 blessings for 7 days. So I'm not going to be able to be there for 7 days, so what I'd like to do on your wedding is give you 7 gifts, blessing gifts. And they're not the usual gifts you think of, like a Cadillac car or a diamond ring or the things that our world values. They're invisible to the eye, but they're in the depths of the heart and the spirit. So I have this bag here, and some of the gifts are heavier in the sense there are lighter gifts and there are heavier gifts, not depending on the word seriously about that, or this is a lighter teaching. So I'm going to give you 7 gifts, and this is the first one. For each of you, Ina and Roman, love is when each of you is concerned with your relationship with yourself as much as you are with your relationship with one another. If your relationship with yourself works, then you can experience yourself as lovable and worthy. Then your relationship with the other can work. If you don't love yourself, you can't let the other one's love in, and you can't let your love to another person out. When we're incomplete, and time passes, and we feel unfulfilled, we blame our partners, and we seek fulfillment in someone more promising. While a partner can add sweet dimensions to our life, we are each of us responsible for our own fulfillment and happiness. Nobody else can provide it, and to believe otherwise is to delude ourselves and to program ourselves for failure in every relationship. That came from a great rabbi who wrote a novel. He's not really a rabbi, but he's a teacher. His name was Tom Robbins, and the book was called Still Life with Woodpecker, a great teaching and a wonderful novel. That's lesson gift number 1. Gift number 2. In love, there's a rush of magic. Magic is just present in romantic love. We tend to feed off that gratuitous magic and think it's going to be with us the rest of our life without striving to make more. One day we wake up and we find the magic is gone. There was actually a song about that in the 1950s. We hustle to get it back, but then often it's too late. We've used it up. What we have to do is work like hell from the beginning to keep that magic alive throughout our relationship. It's hard work, especially when it seems superfluous or redundant. But if you can remember to do it, you greatly improve your chance of making your marriage work. One warning, gift number 3. When you love someone, you do not love them all. It's an impossibility, and it's a lie to pretend to. And yet this is exactly what most of us demand of ourselves and each other. We have so little faith in the ebb and flow of life, of love and relationship. We leap at the flow of the tide and resist in terror its ebb. We're afraid it will never return. We insist on permanency, on duration, on continuity, when the only continuity possible in life, as in love, is in growth and fluidity, in freedom, in the sense that the dancers are free, barely touching as they pass, partners in the same dance. The only real security is not in owning the other, or possessing the other, or demanding, or making demanding expectations, and sometimes not even in hoping. Security in a relationship lies neither in looking back to what was in nostalgia, nor forward to what might be in dread or anticipation, but living in the present moment of the relationship and accepting it. That doesn't mean you don't work on the relationship, but we're human beings. We're not automatons. None of us is perfect, and to expect that of ourselves or our mate. Be kind, be gentle, be loving, be compassionate, communicate, Be forgiving, but be real, and be real. For relationships too must be like islands. One must accept them for what they are here and now, within their limits. Islands surrounded and interrupted by the sea are continually visited and abandoned by the tides. One must accept the security of the winged life, of the ebb and flow of love, of intermittency. That's a hard one. It's a hard one. It doesn't mean accept when things go bad, that it always has to be that way. You can work on it, but not to be so demanding. Work on it. Be more kind and come from your heart and accepting each other in your differences. Let me move on to gift 4. As each of you, in loving one another, wants to please and serve the other. You want to please Roma. You want to please your beloved Ina. And in doing so, you learn a lesson. When you surrender to Ina, when you surrender to Roman, you're not surrendering to the ego of the other person. It's not a power trip where you have self. It's a difficult thing to navigate. The surrender, on the other hand, don't betray yourself, either of you, and deny your own deepest needs, or you'll come to resent the other and see yourself as the victim of the other. Since it's also true in the way of paradox that the only one each of you, Roman and Ina, can trust is the one who won't betray themselves in order to please you. It takes great sensitivity to achieve this healing, and rare in marriage. We're giving you this in the family context today because every couple needs to have the teachings and the lessons embedded within them and the support of the community, because marriage is at the cutting edge today like never before. Gifts will get lighter, I promise you.